Be here for False Chord Magazine, and I am with Patty from If Not For Me. Thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure. It's good to be here.
You are here on another tour in Toronto.
We are, which is cool. I feel like it's been a minute since we played Toronto. Was that Funeral Portrait the last time? I think.
Was it the last time?
I think it was,
which
was like a year and a half ago or something like that. So it's good to be back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
You're on a big tour right now?
Yeah.
It feels like you tour a lot.
Yes, it does. It does feel like we tour a lot. And it's especially the past. It's crazy for us because we didn't start really like heavily touring until probably like 2.5 years ago or something like that.
Right. And you've been going since 2012?
It's funny though, because the band started probably around that time, but it was like our guitar player Hayden's like high school project. So it was just, like local band, they were doing their thing. And then in I think it was like 18? I feel like it's 18 that like If Not For Me like started as like what it is now.
Okay.
That's when like me and Zach joined, and then we started being a lot more serious, I guess. But so that's when we like say like If Not For Me like really started. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was like Hayden's high school baby for a while. I think it's the only band he's ever been in, which is crazy.
Now, you guys have been going for a really long time,
mm-hmm.
and you mentioned that you've really been touring a lot for the
Yeah.
last 2.5 years,
mm-hmm.
you said. Now, was it kind of like the momentum just hit, or?
Yes, it was. Like, it was funny because one of the first like big full U.S. tours we did, I was talking to my merch guy on like, he does like our merch and media content and stuff like that on like one of the late night drives because we were always like the late night drivers, and he was like, man, it doesn't really happen overnight until it does, and like that was the most profound thing ever to me for some reason because like it was really like that. Like we worked so hard for so long, and then all of a sudden we had so much momentum and we were on the road constantly like out of nowhere.
What do you think the turning point for you was?
I think it was when we signed to Thriller, first of all. We started with like In Vogue, which they're like, that's the developmental label up into Thriller. Right. And so they taught us, how to use social media and like all that kind of stuff. We started bringing our content guy out on the road. And we were like really trying to push the online side of things, all while working on that Everything You Wanted record. Mm-hmm. And that when that record came out, some of the songs just popped off really hard online, and then all of a sudden we had these good tour offers, like bands wanted to bring us out, and people kind of started to know who we were, which was really sick. I don't know, it was it really felt like it was just kind of everything all at once, which was crazy.
And you met one of your doppelgängers.
Yes, I've met a lot of doppelgängers of mine actually.
Really?
On the road. Yeah. Like, I always get compared to Cody Jamieson from Until I Wake sometimes, too.
Right.
I don't know. There's a couple guys that I can compare.
The lead singer of Arrows in Action.
Yeah, Arrows in Action. Brian from the Home Team is another one. I like to say that, like, me, Vic, and Brian are, like, evolutions of each other.
Right, like
Brian's
the
like
evolution.
Yeah, Brian's the final evolution, and then I don't know who would be next, me or Vic, but we're the starter Pokemon for sure. But yeah, I love those guys.
Oh, I love that. So you just released a new EP?
Yeah. So it's cool, because we're on the road now, but like the past 6 months we've been off, like putting the finishing touches on all of that, which is interesting because we're so used to being on the road at this point, so it felt like forever. But now like the music is finally coming out. I think we've dropped 3 singles so far, and they're just gonna keep coming, and so we're insanely stoked to finally have new music out.
Now, I noticed a bit of a thematical difference in the writing on this EP versus your last album. The last one felt very deeply personal. This one almost feels like there's a lot of horror references.
Yeah, a little bit. It was weird. It's like the past couple records that we've done.
Unholy is an amazing
thank you.
video, by the way.
We had a lot of fun with that. I'll talk about that one in a little bit too. But the past couple records we've done, especially like Everything You Wanted, it was I was in a pretty rough place, like personally. I was going through a lot of stuff, and a lot of the stuff that I was writing about on that record was like just kind of me trying to process that kind of stuff. Some of it's like directed at other people, some of it's directed at myself, but it is a really, really personal record. And this time around when we were writing, I didn't really feel like I had some like overarching personal story to tell, with the exception of a few of the songs. A few of the songs are extremely personal, Broken Throne being one of them. But Unholy was cool because we started that song and we just had like the main riff section and we had that little like trap beat section in the studio, and we were like jamming it and we were like, this sounds like Blade nightclub music kind of. And so I was like, man, like I should just write like a horror action movie into a song. And then like that's basically what we did. And with the video, I was like, man, like we just should show all of this crazy stuff in the video, because like there's no really interpretation in the lyrics. Like it's just, you know, this is the stuff. So I felt like we wouldn't be doing it justice if we didn't just show a bunch of horror stuff in the video. But yeah, it was fun.
Fantastic. Are you a horror fan then?
I'm a big horror fan, yes.
What are your top 3 faves?
Top 3 faves, that's really hard actually. I really like, as far as like the classics go, I've always been a huge Halloween and like Friday the 13th fan. I'm trying to think of some newer ones I really like. I feel like the Conjuring series was really good when it first came out. I'm kind of falling off of it, but I feel like when that came out, and then when the first couple Insidious movies came out, they just felt kind of fresh. Like nobody was doing stuff like that anymore. So that was like, I feel like horror goes through waves where it's like rehashing of old things, and then every now and then like there's like a beautiful new gem that comes out. But lately, Sinister is another one. Yes. I love Sinister. That's one of my favorites. And I really liked, what was one of the newer ones I saw? I liked Weapons a lot too. It was just so weird. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater. I'm
trippy.
a big horror fan as well. That's why I asked.
And I didn't realize that it was the guy from Whitest Kids You Know either that directed it. And I was like, I found that out afterwards, and I was like, oh, okay, some of the humor in this makes sense now. But yeah, I don't know. I love all that stuff.
Fair. Now, you mentioned that you did release a very deeply personal song on the EP. Mm-hmm. Where did that one come from? Broken Throne?
Yeah, so that one for me was like, I grew up in church. Like I come from a very religious family, and I was pretty much heavily involved in church until I was like an early adult, something like that. But growing up, I started to see a lot of things in the church that I didn't necessarily agree with personally, and like the Jesus that I grew up learning about and hearing about has no room in his heart for hate. And there was just so much stuff like that, and like holier than thou kind of stuff that just like
a lot of people using that book as a weapon.
Yeah, exactly. It weaponized religion, like especially like the whole Christian nationalism side of it, where it's just like, you know, Jesus fed the hungry, he clothed the needy, you know, he healed the sick. But now his fan base is like actively voting against that kind of stuff, and it's just like, I don't know, it's always rubbed me the wrong way. Like one of my earliest memories of being in youth group as a kid, which I loved youth group. I made a lot of friends, I learned a lot of stuff. But one of my earliest memories of it was like I was sitting in church with one of our youth leaders, and she like leaned over to me during one of the services, and she said something like, oh, did you hear they're letting like gay people be members of churches in some places now, and or something like that. And I just remember thinking even then at like 11 years old, I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you telling a child this, you know? And it's, I don't know, I just saw a lot of things like that from people that I looked up to that made me kind of want to distance myself from the organized religion part of it. Right. But yeah, I mean, no shade to anybody that, you know, is still all into that kind of stuff. I'm still very much a firm believer in love and compassion, all the things that Jesus taught. But yeah, so Broken Throne essentially was just, I wrote that song. I wanted to write it for a long time. I just didn't know how to approach it. But it's in a nutshell, it deals with like religious trauma and like doubting everything that you've ever believed in. There's like a lot of biblical references and like personal reference in it. Like, for example, in the chorus, that whole "nothing left to believe but painted glass memories" line came straight from just the memory of the massive stained glass windows in the church that I grew up in. I don't know. There's just a lot of little Easter eggs in that song.
That's great. And honestly, with the political climate, especially in the U.S. right now.
Yeah, it's horrible, dude. It's horrible.
It's the perfect time for a song like that.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I wanted to write about something like that for a while. I just didn't know how to approach it. And when we were in the studio, we were working on that song with Kurt Martin, and we were, coming up with lyrics and stuff like that. And we had all these cool vibe lyrics, and one of the lyrics was "King on a Broken Throne," and I was like, okay, like, what does this mean to me? And like, I took it back to our hotel that night, and I was really sitting with it. And then it just like, the lyrics were just kind of falling into place, and I was like, this is perfect. Like, this is exactly what I want to write about. So it worked out.
I love that.
Thank you.
Now, because you're touring a lot, I would love to know what your tour survival guide is like.
Okay.
Because you're on the road.
Yeah.
You're there with a bunch of other guys.
Yeah.
You're not getting a lot of sleep, kind of eating where you can.
Yeah, for sure. I always tell people that touring is like, it's simultaneously the best and worst thing ever. Because like you said, we're eating garbage, we're barely sleeping. It's really hard work. But for 30, 45 an hour a night, we get to play in front of all these people and kind of spill our hearts out on stage, and then we get to meet people after the shows and all that kind of stuff, and it's just like, it's such a full circle moment that makes everything worth it. But any advice that I could give to people that are getting into touring or anything like that, it would be, get as much sleep as you possibly can. Like, obviously that's way easier said than done. Hydration, eat well if you can. Once again, way easier said than done. And for singers in particular, vocal rest is like super, super important. And I say that as somebody that like barely does any. Like, it's really bad because I'm a bit of a yapper. Like, I like to talk to people, I like to hang out. And then when I'm driving the van late at night, I'm just like singing to the radio and stuff like that. But do as I say, not as I do. Like, rest your vocals. But yeah, and also you got to find little things to keep yourself happy on tour, because it is so hard. You're so far from your family and your friends and your pets and all that kind of stuff. Like, I miss my dog and my cat so much right now. So you have to find little things that like keep you in the right headspace. One of those things for me is I like to go on like a little solo mission sometimes and go sit down in like a little nice restaurant and get myself a decent meal. I'm a very comfort food oriented person. And so that's something that I just go to do, clear my head, be by myself, and it just kind of resets me for a little bit. So just find little things that you can do to make yourself happy.
Right. I feel like in another life, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
You would have been a chef.
Yes, and I was for a long time.
Right.
For like 3 or 4 years, but way back in the day.
What is your signature dish and your favorite dish to eat?
It's so simple, but I really like making Alfredo from scratch, whether it's like chicken, seafood, anything like that. 'Cause it's just like, because when you go to a restaurant, unless it's a really nice restaurant, it just doesn't hit the same.
Right.
I've completely ruined Alfredo for my girlfriend, like, because she used to eat like the jarred crap, and it's funny because she bought a jar of it right before I went on tour, knowing that I was going to be gone. And I was like, what is this doing in my kitchen, and she ate it the other night, and she texted me and was like, it was nasty, like, you ruined it for me. But like I said, it's such a simple dish, but when it's done right, it's just so good.
Nice. A couple more questions and I'll let you go.
Yeah, of course.
If you were to create like an all-star band,
Okay.
who would you have?
An all-star band.
Yeah.
I would want to have probably Jake from Gideon on drums.
Okay.
I just love that guy's drumming style. Oh man, I would say probably maybe Cody from Wage War on guitar and doing some backing vocals. The dude's just a riff machine. Jaya from Make Them Suffer on bass, because he's just such a great hang. I love that guy so much. Probably Nick on guitar too from Make Them Suffer. The dude's just a beast. And then I don't know, maybe I'd sing. Maybe I would want to be something else in the band. I think if I were to ever start another band, I would want to either play like bass or guitar and just have fun.
So who would you get as the singer then?
Dan from the Wonder Years.
Ooh.
He's like the Wonder Years. I'm wearing a Wonder Years shirt right now. There we go.
Love that.
It's my favorite band of all time. If I wasn't doing metal, I would definitely be doing pop punk for sure.
Now you're speaking to my heart.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I love that.
So after tour is over, what's next for If Not For Me?
So I think we have another summer tour because we're playing Incarceration this summer, which I'm super stoked for our first Incarceration. And then we have like a week or two of routing dates around that festival with Memphis Mayfire and Caskets. Right. So that should be sick. I'm stoked to see the Memphis guys again. Love those guys. And then you might see some tours pop up for the fall. Who knows? Ooh. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that yet, but it could happen. And then you could also definitely expect a lot more new music. So I'm really stoked about that.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
So keep your eyes peeled to If Not For Me's social media page to hear new music and see them live. For False Chord, I'm B.
Thank you. Sneak through that wall, just take your hooks right into me.